Everyone, Glenn Sanford here, and today on the Expansion Podcast, I'm excited to welcome Carlos Gutierrez. He's an ICON agent out of beautiful La Jolla, California. And I'm, I just heard you're a big Mike Ferry guy. So anyway,
Yes.
welcome, Carlos.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me, Glenn. I'm very excited to be here with you.
Now you've been in the business for a couple of years. I think 19 years. Maybe did you start at where'd you start at Prudential?
2005 was Prudential. Yes, came out of the world of radio sales. I did radio sales, ad sales for radio stations, multiple stations, and then also website sales, and then big event concerts. So I was doing sales back then, and then I got out of that business and decided to move into real estate.
Okay, awesome. Well, no, I was that's where I cut my teeth originally was at a Prudential office. Of course, now they're Berkshire Hathaway because of all the sort
Yeah,
of changes, but
yeah.
that's where I got started and I got started in 2002, but a couple of years earlier. But now you've been very active. You've been obviously you've got you're an icon. How long have you been with EXP now?
I joined during the pandemic when I saw offices starting to close down and such. And my wife and I knew about EXP through Pete. I saw it about 3 years before. And I always thought it was for teams. I always thought, oh, yeah, you got big teams. You got to do the downline and you got to bring people on. And we realized that when the pandemic happened in the offices, started with Prudential, went to Remax, moved to La Jolla, and started with Prudential again, then turned to BHHS and then Coldwell Banker, through the years. I mean, every company I was with for about 4 years. And then when Sotheby's 2019, 2020 came, I go, we got to make a change here. I called Pete. Pete said, hey, I'm going to come over. And I go, we're ready to go. My wife and I made the decision, and it was the best thing ever. So I saw the model. I go, hey, I could just sell. That's what I love to do. And I said, God, it just lined up so perfectly. Such a great company. And want to talk more about how your brain thought that and thought it up, because I think it's a perfect model for those people that have the sales skills or coaching that, want to be an entrepreneur in the real estate world.
Right. Yeah. One of the things, I think there's a lot of value. There's a lot of value to bricks and mortar especially when you're getting started.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're established and once you know what you need to do this business, when I was a top agent, I didn't go to the office. Like, I found that my productivity went down when I went to the office, and and I could do everything, going back and forth to my home office and on my this is this is back in 2006, 7, 8. But I had the Treo phone, if you remember that, the Palm Pilot, and then
Battery would always fall out.
Yeah. But when we started EXP, I think I think I still had a Treo, and I was tethering at 3G, and it still was actually pretty good. I mean, not like today, but
Technology. That's amazing. Well, you're a great concept, and we're excited to be a part of the family as well. And, we share the story of it, but in the world of real estate, people need to be dedicated. They need to have that grit, grind, that desire, what's pushing them to really want it, to be able to be disciplined enough to, stay if you're going to be at your home office and not do different things and really focus on what your schedule is.
yeah. Well, and how, I guess that's a great question. Like, how do you, like, maybe talk about a little bit about your business? What does your business look like today? How are you generating your business? But then I guess follow on is, how do you keep yourself accountable to the business?
Yeah, that's great. And, it's you've got to be a self-starter in a sense, or have a big goal in mind. And for a lot of those agents is, hey, you know what? The odds are against you, and especially what's happening now in the world of real estate, you have to be really dedicated. And it's not a job. It's more of a lifestyle with a career entrepreneurial mindset, and you have to run it like a business. So, you don't want to take the payments into your own name. You want to set up, whatever format that your tax accountant tells you, and setting it up a business. So you run it like a business so you can get the write-offs, the benefit.
Now, do you have a S corp or a LLC or what?
S corp. Yeah, S corp. And then defined benefit plan as well. So we have the defined benefit plan, definitely. So you can write all that stuff off and just direct deposit to your savings account, et cetera, however it's set up, an accountant sets it up. But nevertheless, that's starting the business. When you first get into the business, that's the way you want to run it, friends. But from there, I always say, get a coach. One of the things I wish I learned right at the very beginning, but it took me about 3 years. My first Mike Ferry event was 2008. So
Okay.
yeah, the world was just crumbling just as I was going to my first event. And I always tell the story. We had Mike Ferry here just a couple of weeks ago in La Jolla doing a presentation for his big superstar retreat next week. And I was talking about like how I showed up in shorts and a t-shirt and sitting in the very back. And like, what do I need this for? But I was told I should go. And then boom, the light bulb turned on. He came 3 months later and I signed up for coaching, suit and tie the way I normally dress. But I saw the connection with other agents, and you always want to connect with other agents because your reputation will precede you. And there's agents all over the country, and you could send referrals all over. Like I sent a referral to Utah yesterday, 25% on 600,000. Another one to Oklahoma, right outside of Tulsa for 375. But those agents and friends will call you around the world in the country, and you can get paid by referring another great agent to them somewhere else. So that's
Okay.
all.
There's this press around the California exodus. Are these people moving out of California or buying second homes, or what's?
Well, the referrals, and that's a great question here. The one that's in Utah is the girl that cuts my hair. It's her dad that lives there and built a duplex brand new and needed to sell it. And his agent's his accountant. And she goes, Dad, you need to talk to Carlos. So he was excited to talk to me, working out of San Diego and La Jolla, the high price point we are. And then my other friend's a childhood friend that lives in Oklahoma, called me going, hey, I want you to represent me. So, but I just work out the world. Yeah. I'm not going to try and do a deal in an area that I have no idea about. I'd rather refer to that agent that's a listing agent, or getting the client the best deal, because if that client is happy, it's a client for life, and they will refer you people wherever they are and talk good about you.
Right. So now, what is your how do you generate your business? How do you stay connected with the folks that are in your database?
So always be closing, always be adding to your database. Clients for life is the mindset. And when you're talking about that, you have to be out and talking to people. If you're going to be door knocking, that's one thing. And I think you can make greater connections door knocking than any other way, as long as you have a script, you know what you're saying and asking, and smile, dress the part. But people want to talk to people. And if face-to-face is way better than on the phone. However, I prospect on the phone mostly. I use Arch Agent as a dialing system. Steve Cortez is amazing. You can get whatever numbers if you're calling expireds, for sale by owners, or you're going to be circle dialing, calling, non-owner. Like I live in a vacation area, so I call a lot of the known owner just around the area. So I'm always adding to my database those people I have a good connection with there. And then also I belong to many groups in San Diego, from San Diego State. I was the Aztec Warrior for many, many years, since the 90s through now, even recently, because of the political correctness. So that's what I'm known for in San Diego. So I know so many different people through the political realm, through business realm, and just out and about when you're talking with friends, of saying, hey, who else do you know that may need my help? Or who else do you know that I should be connected with? And then Glenn, one of the things I started doing was being more consistent on hosting a friends and client quarterly event. So this can get a little pricey depending on where you have the event, Glenn. And I have a very good friend of mine that owns probably one of the most famous barbecue restaurants in San Diego in multiple locations. He has a big event center, and it's the best location because it's got great parking, and it's San Diego parking stuff. So I call the people, I call my database as you're adding to them and inviting my friends. But hey, who else do you know that I should be connecting with, in the realm of real estate, and or just as another great connector in San Diego? Who do you know that I might be able to help? Besides, I also give an update of, hey, did you know, Glenn, right now the real estate market is up 15% of median sales price year to date in San Diego County. Were you aware of that? And then I go on from there. And then so I give a little bit of information. Then I do the ask of who else they may know that I can help in real estate as well. So hey, I've got a big event coming up. So, I give a little bit, and I give some information about real estate. And then I let them know, hey, we'd love to have you. And then who else do you know that I can help this year? So, and people think about it. They may not know now, but they're going to think, and then they may bring a friend, or, hey, I got a friend selling or buying, or whatever the case is. I'm always adding to the database, though, always. And then after the event, I follow up with everybody that showed up and say thank you and say, hey, for next time, who else do you know that we should bring? Because I probably get an extra 10 people per event that I've never met that are really great connectors and connected through my database. So I'm always adding that way, and we'll get probably a deal probably per event at least, if not more.
Okay, awesome. So now, what database or what CRM do you use?
So we just moved over from Google to Lofty, and we're still we're learning more about that now. Just sending out emails, text messages. It's just having it in one place that it's very easy to update the contact information. So it's taken us a while to find the right system, and I really like the Lofty system so far. So that's the one that I'm using now. But other than that, awesome. I basically had Google, and I did my VIP A, B, C, and really would contact my VIP A's mostly, and then B's. But you always got to be talking to your database. One of the things I'm going to be talking about next week is your past client COI. I mean, just think of it as a 10% rule is what Mike Ferry says. You should get 10% of business from your database. I've got 1,000 people. I should be getting like 100, but I'm not doing 100 yet. But just think within 5 years, if you got a referral from every single person in your database, how much money would that be? So you got to be excited about that database, staying connected with the database, and giving great customer service within that database. So another one, Glenn, here is we always adopt the buyer on the listings. You follow up with that buyer somehow, get their phone number after, or door knock them if you need to, and let them know, hey, I represented the seller. You were the buyer's agent, or the buyer on the property. You want to make sure that you're happy with the home. And did you get the information of the home warranty? Because usually something's going to happen to the home. And I want to make sure that I brought that information to you and stay connected as a part of that customer service. Build rapport, get their information, their address already. If you get their email, their phone number, and then you're going to adopt them and stay in touch with them every, 30 to 60, 90 days from there on, and just add them into your mail, your email, your social media, whatever you could do, and they'll have a great experience.
Awesome. So now when you add someone to your database, what's your typical follow-up with somebody in your database? Do you have like a base plan, and then you sort of deviate from there based on them, or what does that look like?
It's really the conversation and learning more about them, where they live, obviously, and then what they do for their profession, their family, what are their organizations, how can I connect with them? Tony Robbins always said we're connected one way or another, but the sooner that you can find that rapport, that's that connection, the quicker you can, become friends, and the quicker that they'll appreciate and feel more connected to you, and feel comfortable to refer business to you as well. So I've followed up with people, I've never met them, and I've adopted them as my buyer, and I've gotten deals from them because they feel that, hey, I've connected, given the information, stay in touch. That's the biggest thing. Where people, like, I look at my list, go, God, I haven't talked to them I'm going through my B's and C's now, Glenn. Go, God, I haven't talked to them for like a year. And I, some super CEO from some company I was just talking from Qualcomm, I'm like, I just got to call them and say, hey, I'm so sorry that I've not followed up and kept in touch with you. And I just want to say I'm sorry. And they go like, what about what? And then you just carry on the conversation. How's your business? How's your life? What's going on in San Diego? And whatever my connection was from that. And you always put the notes in your database of how you know them. And, you have a couple little key things you could say, and that's the connector. And the more that you find those connections, the quicker you can build that rapport, and, then shift it over going, hey, I need some help. I really need more help than ever now in this market. I'm looking for anybody that needs help in selling real estate. Now, Glenn, do you happen to know of anybody right now that's talked about maybe possibly moving out of California, maybe moving into California, or downsizing? Anybody you can think of?
There you go. No, that's I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So now, what is your? Do you have an assistant? Do you have a team? What's that look like?
Yeah, one of the greatest things that I've learned from Mike Ferry is called the power of delegation. So, those things, and you have to say, how much money are you worth? And I was watching Bill Pipes, and I've been doing affirmations forever. And he was talking about what is your hourly rate? And, that's what one of the things you're going to learn in coaching is what are your actions? What are you doing? You got to track your numbers. You track your numbers, and you know what you're worth. And then those things that are probably the lesser value and sense of time, you delegate those to an assistant. So I have a director of client success, Michelle Ridley. She's been in the business a long time. She's licensed. She's amazing. And friends, use your resources in regards to your vendors, your title, escrow, lenders. Those guys are in the business always connecting with other agents, and find someone that has experience, it's motivated, and that will do a great job, and that you don't have to like stay over and hover on them, and you have to give them the right to fail, but to do the action. So maybe not done exactly the way I want every single time, but nevertheless, she learns how I've operated the last couple of years. She's amazing. It's tough to find good people that want to work in this day and age, but I'm very blessed to have Michelle. She handles everything, a lot of the interaction. So I'll take the listing, and then from there, she takes care of it all. I'll give the weekly feedbacks, or I'll call with the good news in regards to, hey, the appraisal came in, great news. Just want to let you know it's at value. Do you have any other questions at the moment? No? Okay, great. I want to ask a favor. Who do you know now that wants the great service like myself that I've provided for you? Can you think of anyone? So
Right.
We go on from there.
Now, what about do you have a brand in the marketplace? How are you differentiating from other agents in the market? What is sort of allows you to stay top of mind with the people that you're engaged with?
Well, it's staying in touch and always, giving great information, not about me, it's about them. Remember, nobody cares about you. It's only about them. So the more that you can talk about the market, talk about that person individually, especially on social media, the power, you're not saying, hey, everybody, you're kind of talking to them directly. And it's one of the things I try to focus on. Doing more video. I've hired a social media person that I feel that I've connected with somebody really amazing right now. And it's really just getting the content out that people want, and as well as sharing, life that we live in San Diego. We're blessed to live, the lifestyle that we do, and share that with other people about all the great places to go, to see, to attend. And we push that out on social as well, and like YouTube, because a lot of people are looking for San Diego with the top things to do and how much fun it is. And people want to be connected with people that are smiling, happy. So we try to promote a lot of that and the lifestyle. So the brand is basically Carlos Gutierrez, real, reliable results. And I'll tell you the truth. Some people don't like it, but I'd rather be upfront and be honest. And
Right.
That's, one of the things that I do. And I'm real. That's what people see. And they've seen it for years. And again, representing San Diego State in the capacity of the Aztec Warrior and the Monty Montezuma and those things. So they know who I am. And try to be as humble as you can. So.
Okay. A newer agent, sort of, and obviously provide tons of great advice, but if somebody came up to you today and said, "Hey, I got licensed in the last year, I'm trying to get my business off the ground," what would be one piece of advice you would give to them? Maybe it's an EXP agent, maybe it's just somebody sort of in the general population of real estate agents out there. But what would be sort of that one piece to get them really, pointed in the right direction?
Glenn, I thank you for that question, because it happens all the time. I get referred from friends like, hey, this person's really gung ho. They got their real estate license. They want to get the real estate license. A call going, hey, I'd really love to have coffee with you and talk about what you do in your business. I'm thinking about getting into real estate. And I go, if that's the case, the most important thing is you have to invest in yourself. And you have to put your money where your mouth is. And if you don't have the money, then go borrow it. Go do something to make the money. Get a coach. I don't know, some people like different people, from Buffini to Tom Ferry to Mike Ferry. Find the connection, but get a coach that will help you stay on track from the beginning, because the better actions, the better direction, the better coaching you have to start things that are good habits and not bad habits, it will be the definition of your success. So the sooner that you can get lined up with a coach that will direct you that way to set a goal, time block your time, make sure you take your time off. Mindset, that you got to break it up. You can't work for 4, 5, 6 straight hours. You got to take those mindset breaks. But some people just want to power through. But that's where you have somebody to bounce those ideas off as well. And they've worked with, if they're a good coach, they've worked with many, many top successful people. Why, as a new agent, would you want to try and recreate the wheel, right? So I always say, get a coach, invest in yourself, and you have to dig deep and you have to work hard for the next 6 to 12 months just to, break through and see the light of the success for some people. But hey, some people can hit it off right at the very beginning if they got great contacts and they're not afraid for rejection.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. Obviously everybody starts at different speeds. But I think once you get into the business 2 or 3 years, everybody's generally equal, and it's all about, making sure you keep the small promises with the people that you're engaged with to ultimately make the big deals, which is making sure you follow up when you say you're going to follow up, letting people know in advance what you're going to do, and
Yes.
and then just following through. And if you do that enough times, people will naturally want to do business with you, because the unfortunate reality is the bar is set pretty low in the business of real estate. So if you do what you're supposed to do, it gets a lot easier.
And it like a true pro. It's future pace your customers and letting them know what's coming next. And then that follow up and saying, you're going to do this at this time. You do it, you follow up and make sure, hey, I did this. But you always have to under promise and over deliver. But the more that they're not surprised by things that happen and you future pace it, we know the process. But as an agent, you have to coach those people that you're working with, because they don't do a lot of transactions normally.
Right.
Their single family home is their largest investment they ever had. They've lived there for 25 years. They've never sold or bought normally. So the more that you can make them feel comfortable and coach them through that process, and that's from learning as well, and having a system and not being afraid to having a script to go through every single part of the deal. And that's why I love the Mike Ferry sales system. It's just point by point by point. You just break down. Okay, start out, prospect. Okay, what do I say? What do I do? How do I follow up? How do I set the appointment from there? Okay, great. I got the appointment. Okay, great. Okay, I close it. It's a system that you got to have, friends. And if you're just getting in the business, who are you going to work with? Who is coaching you? Who are you aligning with to see your success? Because we always know the people you work with, their past performance is going to be your future success. So that's the way we look at it.
Oh, good stuff. Carlos, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing some of your wisdom that you've developed over the last 19 years in the real estate business, but obviously you've been in sales for much longer than that. And what your website is Carlos Sells San Diego, I think.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Carlos Sells San Diego. And then on Instagram, it's Carlos Nonstop. And if there's anything you ever need or, questions asked, please reach out. It's Carlos Gutierrez, 858-864-8741 in San Diego. And for those of you, if I can help in any way, please do. And one of the things I want to say, Glenn, I was blown away by this last EXP con. So those people that can go, I plan on being in Miami. What are the dates again, Glenn?
It is, I think
October,
it's
right?
October 26th or 7th. Let me just get my calendar up. It starts the 26th through the 20. Well, actually, I don't have the exact. I've got it blocked out in my calendar, but it's I think it's the 26th, 27th is when I'm going to be there, and then I think it goes through the 31st. So that's what I've got on my calendar at the moment. So it's right in that week. But
you guys knocked it out of the park. Next time, I'm supposed to be with the Ferry family with Andrea Bocelli around that last time. We haven't formalized that, but nevertheless, great event. You learn a lot. You learn about the company and how dynamic the company is. I'm blown away. And I would love to interview you more in regards to how did you come up with the concept? And, where do we see the real estate market going from here as well would be one of my questions for you, Glenn.
Yeah, well, hey, the next 30, 60, 90 days, we're going to see a little bit of change. So just with all the stuff that's going on. So hopefully by the time we get to Miami, I'll have a better opinion on where we're all going. So, but exciting times. What
Yes.
is it? The yin and the yang is opportunity riding a dangerous wind, and anytime there is things going on, that means opportunity is baked right in. So,
Amen.
hey, Carlos, thanks again for jumping on. Thanks everyone for listening, and
Thank you.
until next time, this has been the Expansion Podcast. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.